Welcome to the Urban Wall Street Project. I'm your host, Earl Christian III, of course, and today I have a dynamic, beautiful woman in the building with me. She's doing some amazing things to educate the community, bring education back to the family, begin it with the family because we know family is key and education is definitely key. So without further ado, I want to introduce the CEO and founder of BMU, Better Man, Better Woman University, Determined to Educate Incorporated, Miss Cindy Baah. Hey dear, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Okay, thank you.
I love the name. Let me first tell you, because I'm all about education. You know, my show is about edutainment. So when I meet someone that's determined to educate, I definitely want to know what it's about and let them expose it. So I want to put the spotlight on you. Determined to Educate. What is the concept behind Determined to Educate?
Well, Determined to Educate is a nonprofit organization that was established to reinvent community. It's a concept that I developed, or we developed, that focuses on the young helping the old and the old educating the young.
Right.
And I feel that, especially in this day and age, there's so many different families and different people running around and being ignorant to different issues. And I wanted to bring this organization back to the community so we can actually reinvent these issues and talk about it.
Right, right. Now, I love it because I see, you have your logo that says Determined to Educate, Better Woman University, Better Man University. Now, I love the logos. Where'd you get the idea to have a BWU and BMU? Like, where'd that come from?
Well, growing up, I was a huge, huge fan of School of the Hard Knocks.
Okay.
And I remember every time I went to the store, I could never afford their shirts.
Right.
But the first thing that happened is that my sister got a shirt and she never got it back. I stole it from her. So you got that now. So, I used to always see that they had like little sayings on the back and things like that. And, it'll be one or two words, or even a sentence that would trigger me to say, hey, that's hot. And then I remember the college shirts with the like Grambling and I don't know, what was it?
It was AACA. That was my
AACA.
college. My brother, he was actually on the show a couple of months back too. That's what's up. I appreciate it.
Right. So I was really, really, really intrigued by those kind of shirts, and then I said, well, how would I bring it back? I need some kind of concept that's going to attract people not only my age, younger and older, that's going to remember something that's going to, stay in their head.
Right, right.
So that's how it happened.
Right. Now, Determined to Educate, that's the company, and I love the title because it's so critical at this day and age. Like you said, so many people, especially in the families, there's a dysfunction, there's almost like a disbandment from the young and the old, and I don't know if it's, from the Willie Lynch letters, we pit one another against each other, but I love the fact that you want to bring community back and bring education back and know that it starts at home. I think a lot of people forget that education truly starts at home. Once upon a time in the beginning, when there were no schools, children had to be homeschooled or schooled by their parents. And I think now with so much, we have schools and, of course we have to go to school, it's conventional, but I think the fact that of education being in a home is lagging a lot of times. I think too many times we expect the community and schools to do all the education and provide all the education, and we don't bring it ourselves. So I just love the whole Determined to Educate. So now, what is it that you want BMU and BWU to bring out from people?
I believe that not taking anything away from any education system, that education begins in the home, like you said, and it should also end in the home. But if we can't better ourselves as women and as men, as adults, how can we educate our young? So I feel that there are issues, again, that we need to trigger, or we need to target, talk about, better ourselves with, and then we can teach our young.
Right, right.
So, there's so many communities out there that, again, they're ignorant to certain issues. And, like self-esteem. We have women that have strong self-esteem issues.
Right.
It could be a massive issue, it could be a small issue, but it's something that is there. Some women try to ignore it, but it needs to be spoken about, or it needs to be talked about. Right. So we speak about the problem, we target the problem, and we better ourselves at, or we actually accept the problem, and we accept the answers that come with it, then, you can't go wrong. It's like, come on. I'm trying to better you, you're bettering me. Right. Like I tell a lot of people with this organization, I'm not only the president, I'm also a client. I'm learning. What you're telling me right now, I'm learning. So, we're trying to educate ourselves, and we can't be crabs anymore. You can't pull me down, I can't pull you down. It's not working.
Now I know, over the course, you said your company's been in existence officially for a year.
Exactly.
Right?
October makes a year.
October makes a year, so congratulations on that, number one.
Thank you.
And I'm sure you meet a lot of people and you're hearing a lot of different type of stories because this is actually a program. Right. Correct? Is it online or is it a walk-in? How is the program facilitated?
Right now, we invented a concept online where we interact with the community.
Great.
It's an interactive website where we have professors, not accredited professors, but professors that are experienced in the different topics that we talk about. So Self-Esteem 101 was targeted for the community because of for Women's Month and, how women are just going through these changes and, whatever relationship issues they have, it was a concept that I felt that I also had a problem with too. Okay. Because, again, sometimes I question my self-esteem. Right. It's not a bad thing. It just happens.
Well, I think we all do at some point in time. Everybody's critical of, I know I'm my hardest critic. And I think most people are their hardest critic. You see things in yourself that other people might not recognize. But that's because, I guess, in your quest for perfection or your quest or striving for just excellence, you just always want to represent yourself, with your best foot, of course. Now, is there a consistent theme that you recognize? Because when you started this, you had to realize, there's a lot of different issues that we're going through in the community, and there's a lot of parallels, whether between men and women, whether persons of color or non-color. There's parallels that we all share with different issues. What's some of the, I say, mainstream issues that you've encountered with people that come to you and talk to you about different things they go through?
Well, we are obviously in an economic crisis. Right. We had a class online that was called Be Able to Provide 101. This was actually targeted to the male patrons that visit the site. I had a professor, his name is Professor Vincent Munn. He actually is a 20-year veteran, Wall Street veteran, and he owns his own business. So he lectured the class. And his lecture was phenomenal. It was such a great lecture that we actually had someone visit the site and say that he just lost his job. And when he lost his job, he felt that he couldn't do anything for his son because all he knew was to give his son money, that his son could go buy sneakers, and there was no time involved. And Professor Munn targeted how it's okay that you're not working, just give the kid time. Right. And he came back and he said that after reading that lecture, it changed his life. I mean, it may sound cliche, but it changed his whole outlook on the way he needs to teach his son or be with his son. So, I mean, that right there just told me we're doing something right.
No question, no question. And I'm sure you are, and I'm sure people are going to be appreciating it for a long time. But and the question I want to ask is, it's unfortunate, but where do you think the breakdown comes from, or when did it begin in our community? Like, when did we lose it? Because we once educated each other. I mean, before, when we were not legally allowed to educate each other, we could be killed or hanged or destroyed for trying to educate, and now we can freely educate and bring family back and uplift and build up the family. It seems like the desire and the commitment or the passion is no longer there. Where do you see the issues stemming from that we aren't the family community that we should be?
Again, I feel that it begins in the home. And, there's not taking anything away from working parents or people that are really, quote unquote, too busy to educate their young. It's just so many things that have emerged from the 80s, from the 90s to the new millennium. It's like people are, everything is personal. Like, everything is just like selfish. I think that's a better word. There's a lot of selfishness going on. And again, I'm not taking anything away from any parents, anything like that, but I just feel that it's imperative and it's a good thing when you come home and you sit down and you talk to your child. Yes. You take 5 minutes for yourself and then you sit down with your child.
Definitely.
So, I mean, I think that I'm trying to stress that more because, again, we have to better ourselves in order to better our young because they are our future.
Exactly, and that's so key. I work with a lot of young students, and, one thing I think that doesn't happen a lot at home is the parents don't put the quality time in. A lot of times, parents ask, you have homework? Or did you do your homework? And the kids say, yeah, kid could be in front of the video game. Yeah, it's done and finished. But the parent and the parent just takes the word, their word on face value, and they come to find out 2 months later, oh, your child missed 7, 8 homework, they missed a test, and we're not really committed. So I appreciate that. And determined to educate, I really appreciate it. Now, do you have partners with this organization, or did you come up with the concept, and are you moving it on your own as just the founder, CEO, and the head honcho?
I actually am the founder and CEO. My brother, his name is Baah. He's the vice president.
Okay.
And mainly, I work with the professors online.
Okay.
So I have 10 professors with all amazing backgrounds.
Okay.
I have Professor Munn, as I mentioned, who's a 20-year Wall Street veteran, also an entrepreneur. I have Professor Darnell Middleton. He works with children. I have Professor Lamont Middleton. He also works with young adults. I have Professor Ursula Harvey. She is a mother, as well as she also worked for various Fortune 500 companies. At Professor Spencer, she's a foster mom as well as a mother.
Okay.
I have Professor Jay. She's a deacon, working with young adults in the church. I have Professor Andre McCullough. He was actually McDonald's All-American, like in the 80s.
Oh, okay.
And he also has his own nonprofit organization called A Heart to God for Books and Ball. And there's just so many backgrounds. I have Professor Myers, Shani Myers. She was an Iraqi veteran.
Wow.
She just came back from Iraq.
Amazing.
Amazing, and I'm just making sure I don't forget anyone.
Well, we definitely know we have some very well-versed people there. Now, when someone comes, now the person, who's your audience? Is there a particular demographic, particular age range that you look to work with? I know it could be better man and better woman, but is it teenagers that can be a part of this organization? They can go online and get the service. Who is it primarily geared towards?
We're actually, so Better Man University, we're gearing that towards 23 and older.
Okay.
Better Woman University, same age, 23 and older. We're actually coming out with our 3rd division, which is called Young Gift Academy, Midsummer.
Okay.
And that's for all the kids. So 21 and under. I didn't pick it the 22-year-olds, because sometimes the 22-year-olds act like 18-year-olds.
Sure.
So I'll just say 22 and younger. And I have 2 more professors, Professor Jefferson. She's an author, and she has young children, as well as Professor Blair. She has young children. So I wanted to have those 2 professors work on the divisions that we have called, the new division, sorry, that is called Young Gift Academy.
Right. Now you have a variety of professors from different walks of life and in different areas. And is there ever like a round table where they're all kind of talking together? Or do you call, like, if you have a segment, is it one segment per week that addresses self-esteem, and then maybe the next particular issue addresses something else? Or is it at any given time you can talk, you can log on, or go to the website and get involved in classes to get into any of the different topics?
So the way the website works is we'll have 2 classes up, and we give it 2 weeks for people to come on and make a comment, tell a story, just to share their world for a moment. Or they could just read it and not say anything. But as long as we know that we're getting some kind of feedback, it helps us out. So every 2 weeks I try to change the classes.
Okay.
And every semester, just like in college, every semester we'll have different classes. So we just finished our fall winter session.
Okay.
And then by the end of this month, we're going to start our spring summer session.
Okay. Now, how long is the classes?
It's just about 2-3 paragraphs.
Okay, paragraphs.
Yeah, because some people don't like to read a lot.
Right, unfortunately.
I'm afraid to say.
Right.
So we try to keep it cool, calm, collective, and straight to the point.
Okay.
So again, if you come back, you have a story, and however if you want to give us 3 pages, it's okay.
Right.
Because there's a lot of people that I'm sorry to say, that are either suicidal or have different issues that want to talk, and then we're here to talk.
And that was going to lead to my next question. What are some of the, I know you've read a lot of different bios or profiles, or just, comments or paragraphs from people's stories. What's some of the more touching stories that you've heard? Any touching stories you really heard, like, wow, that was a really amazing situation, whether it was one that was very uplifting, or maybe one that could, maybe cause some degree of depression?
One of my professors, Professor Jefferson, spoke about how she wasn't married to her child's father,
Okay.
and how she had to accept that, you know, he moved on. And so a lot of women that came on or were logging onto the site were coming back. There wasn't one in particular, but it seemed like it was the same story.
Right.
They were coming on and they were saying, oh, you know, I really didn't look at it this way, and, you know, I have to make sure that I don't, you know, use my child as a pawn. And it was just like more of acceptance, like, okay, he has moved on, so can you. And that was the name of the class.
Okay, okay.
Your baby daddy has moved on, so can you.
Wow.
Or your baby's father has moved on, so
Right,
can
right.
you. So, you know, again, it's like an issue that some women just don't want to touch, but it's
Right.
the truth.
Yes.
If he can move on, you can move on too. It's
Right.
hard, but it's just the way it is. And again, we all have our issues, but it's just like some things that I really need to target online or to target in the community that we need to talk about, that she's thinking about it, she's thinking about it, she's thinking about it, and she's thinking about it. So
Right. Now, is there a, how should I say, a conversation that may have been online? Because if I was on your line and I was in a class and I write my paragraph or my 2 or 3 paragraphs, it's visible to anyone that actually goes online,
Exactly.
right? So is there any particular story that was really, a person came on, they presented their scenario, whether it's positive or negative, or negative or misfortunate situation, and from the lesson that they received from one of the professors, it really changed their life and made you feel really good about having the program up, that you can recall?
we had a class that was lectured by Professor J, who's the deacon. It was called Don't Hate on the Next Woman. Well, I'm your sister, why you acting like that? And a lot of the feedback we got from there was saying that there are a lot of women that hate on the next woman or the next girl. And, you know, I personally have a problem with that, because whether you're white, black, green, purple, it doesn't matter. It's like we're all women first. So it's like it's imperative that we support each other. So the feedback that we were getting back, it was we have not gotten negative feedback as of yet. And I try my best not to post any negative feedback if it comes, because that's not what we're promoting.
Right.
So on that particular class, we had a couple of young ladies that were saying that, you know, they don't have a problem with telling a woman, oh, you know, your outfit looks nice, or your hair looks fabulous, and blah, blah, blah. And it's all about the next woman that's going to take it and how she's going to take it. Is she going to take it like, oh, gosh, she's sweating me, or, you know, instead of taking it like, wow, she's embracing me. And some women don't know how to embrace it, and some women don't even know how to give that kind of feedback or give that kind of compliment. So, you know, that particular class and the feedback that we got from that, it was just like, wow.
Wow,
Like, I didn't know I was like that, or, wow, you're right, you know, things like that. So.
You know, and what you just said is so key. And I was reading an article on YRB magazine, and it was Christina Milian. It was a story on her, and she said something that it goes right to what you're talking about. She said, you know, a lot of times, you know, in the industry, people that see her and they might yell out, oh, Rihanna, or Beyonce, or whatever. And for her, she's like, hey, you know, just the fact that people are just recognizing me as whether I look like them or I'm in that same vein, it's no big deal. She said, but unfortunately, it seemed like, she said, these guys, all the men in the industry can get together and make hot records, do compilations, and it's all good. Guys can come together and make records and make money.
Right.
But you don't see that with the women. It's like they all want to shy away from each other. Like, you might see compilations or, you know, joint ventures, but you don't really see it too much. Like, they all want to do their own thing and not come together. And it is kind of, it's like not hating so much, but I might not hate, but I'm not really trying to participate either. And I just want to know, why, in your opinion, what is the dynamic that causes women to have that friction or that competition all the time, seemingly?
I believe that they don't understand, because they don't understand what they don't know. I believe, you know, if you take the time out to really understand what that person is about, just because you see their physical aspect or their physical attributes, it doesn't mean that, oh, she's stank or she's nasty or she'll, you know, do something to cutthroat you or anything like that. And, you know, take the time out to learn about your sister, or take the time out, ask a question. If she feels that she doesn't want to be bothered, then you step away.
Right.
But it's like, don't hate on me, you don't even know me.
Right.
You know, and there's another class that we're talking about that we have, that I haven't posted yet. And fellas may be upset, but hey.
Right, I want to talk about it. Let them know.
The name of the class is called Don't Be Upset at Her, Be Upset at Your Man. Because sometimes, in most cases, the next woman did not know she's in the same predicament that you are. Again, you are a woman first.
Right.
before, before anything.
Right.
So she may have not known.
Right.
But if she come in your face, then this is a different story. But don't quote me on that. But, so it's just that I just feel like we need to embrace each other.
Right.
And the way men embrace themselves is just amazing. And, last night, because I love that show, The Game.
Okay, right. I just started getting into that show.
Yeah, I like that show. And there was a situation where Melanie, who's one of the characters, lied to her boyfriend, Darwin, and said that she slept with one of the players.
Right.
And what is this guy's name? One of the players, Malik, that's right. Malik's mother, Tasha, put the guys together and said that they have to squash it for the sake of the team. So as they were squashing it, she said, I lied, 5 minutes later, they're together and they're going to play a game.
Right.
And he's mad at her. So it was like, it's just so easy for the fellas to get together and say, oh, forget her, or But then here you have women that are having catfights over men. That's so unnecessary, because half the time he probably wanted to stay with you anyway.
Right.
But, to each his own. But I just want to encourage our women to, stop, think, listen, and just, think about what they're going to say, what they're going to do when it comes to the next woman, and just embrace her.
Right. Now we talked about the women. Now we got better men. We want to make the men better. So I'm sure there's some conversations, some essays from some of the brothers who have gone through some classes. Is there a particular lesson that you can recall that, at the top of your head from a male that went through something, and how you educate brothers on similar situations?
Professor Lamont Middleton wrote a lecture called Take Care of Your Kids, She Didn't Do It Alone.
I like that.
So his lecture spoke about how, obviously you guys did it together. So regardless of, whatever issues you have with the woman, please remember that maybe there was a time when your father wasn't there. You knew how it felt. So your best bet is to not follow in your dad's footsteps and take care of your child, regardless if the woman is giving you a hard time or being a witch or whatever the case is.
Right.
And we had a young lady, she didn't give her name though, but it's okay.
Right.
And she spoke about how she was, again, using her child as a pawn. It's like we keep getting that familiar thing.
Right.
Using her child as a pawn, and, she didn't realize that it was that intense, and, she actually said, I didn't think a man had feelings after all this time. And
yeah, what is that, ladies? Yes, we do have feelings. I think they think we're cyborgs. We're not emotionless. We're not emotionless, We might not show it, but I mean, we're human beings, We want to hide behind this machismo, but at some point in time, you have to recognize that you're a human being and your emotions are affected.
Right. But some guys hide it. But, so she said that, she really appreciated the fact that that lecture was up, and that it kind of changed her way of thinking, and that she said, maybe I'll let my man in now, my ex-man in rather, in the house or something like that. But it was something.
Now, how do we let people know? How do people find out about Determine and Educate? Do you have to register like in college? Does the class close? That class is closed. It's full. Come back next semester. How does it go down?
So before I answer that question, I just want to let you know that I brought you a Better Man University shirt.
Oh, thank you so much.
I appreciate it. I also have the women's version Better Woman University shirt with the classes on the back.
Okay.
So that's for you as well.
Thank you very much. So now I want to register for these classes online. So what do I do before it closes? So
currently we have people just logging on and just going ahead and just putting the name in, but we're actually going to change the concept and have people log on with their email address, letting us know who they are, what state they're coming from, and different backgrounds, but not necessarily too intense, because some people are really, I guess, scared to give all the information.
Right, apprehensive with the online.
Right, and we had 2 forums, one for Better Man University and one for Better Woman University. And we're going to, in the course of the years or in the course of the months, we're going to try to have like a launch party that will promote our 1-year anniversary, as well as having like a silent auction, and people come in with their spas, like have like a little festival for the organization. So hopefully, that could come through, and we're just gonna also open up a facility in Harlem in the near future that will have people come in, and we'll be actually having the classes face to face.
Excellent, that's great. and I'm sure people appreciate it. I want to thank you, one, for coming through. I want to thank you for coming up with the concept of Determine to Educate, because it's very important that we all recognize our importance in the role that we play in educating our community and bringing education from the home. My people at home, I hope you learned something. I hope your determination to educate your community, your family has been risen or raised. I hope you're more conscious about it, because the community is all about us. We start at home, and home is where the heart is. Be smart, be mindful, educate your children, reach out to people, go online. If you're going through some issues and you want to be educated about it, you want to be anonymous, you don't really want to put it out there, write your first name and let the people hear what you're talking about. I'm sure one of the professors would be more than happy to helpful, and I'm sure that your issue that you might be going through, there's probably 1,000 other people going through the same situation. So don't be afraid, step up, get enrolled and determine to educate, get your mind right, and it's going to be a beautiful time. If you're a business person, you want to get your business mind right, you know the Urban Wall Street Project wants to educate you. Check out urbanwallstreet.biz, and we can help you get to some other places in your financial future. I want to thank my guest, Ms. Cindy Baah, for coming through. Determine to Educate. We're going to be following you in your book fair, and I just want to thank you for coming out. Next time, people keep watching the Urban Wall Street. We're here. Peace.